I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, March 21st, brought to you in part by Toromox by Norbrook. Toromox is the affordable alternative to Cydectin, and you can expect about the same results at a lower upfront cost. Ask your animal health professional about Toromox or go to norbrook.com for more information. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Market in south central Iowa. Unionville had their big special here this past Tuesday, and man, was it a barn burner. They sold the heck out of them out there, and they had several loads of big feeding steers and backgrounded, weighing from 8.5 to 900 pounds, and they bring from 286 to 293.50. Wow, where else you going to get that? How about Creston? They've got a regular sale today here on Friday, just a regular weigh up sale and all classes sale. But their next all vaccinated calf and yearling sale will be Wednesday, April the 2nd, and they're expecting a good run for that. The board is driving the market as opposed to about a month, 6 weeks ago when we were in our little correction period there. When we started coming back out of that, I told you that cash was driving the market and the board was dragging behind. But everything's bullish right now. And right now the board is pulling the cash market along. And you think, oh my gosh, how can it do that? Even on feeders, your board every day is sitting just a little bit higher than what your cash index levels are. Even your real-time index that is always up to date and current. And for sure your CME cash feeder cattle index. But it's just a little bit higher than that. It closed a little bit higher than that on Thursday. Your April live cattle are out in front of your fat cattle market, now, which is the last available, was last week's established weighted average there, which was only 205 and change. We've got April spot live cattle at 208.50 nearly. And your next month out, June, is just over 205. So your board is actually pulling your market along. And for the first time in a long time, I've heard of people within the industry taking long positions on both live cattle and feeder cattle because they just think that this market is not high enough. They think we're going to 220 on our live cattle futures and $3 on our feeder cattle futures. Now, if we do that, yeah, there's ground to gain there, but that's just like going to Las Vegas and rolling the dice or putting it on red on the roulette wheel. But guys think there's money to be had there. They don't think there's anywhere to go but up, especially the guys that are selling fat cattle. They've talked to these packers, and the packers have lost their bluff. They need cattle bad. And of course, the country buyers that they talk to every week, especially when they see them face to face, they don't have a bluff face on anymore. They need cattle, and we only saw a few cattle sell here this week yet, and everybody else has got their heels dug in. Even the weak sisters, even some of your farmer feeders that aren't sure what they can get for their cattle. Even your partners of the big four, your corporate feeders down there, the few that sell a little bit of cash cattle every week, they've all got their heels dug in, and they're all wanting more than last week, and they gained ground last week, and they want more additional money this week than they got last week, and this thing is just bullish, bullish, bullish. Now we got a cattle on feed report coming out. Whoa. And sometimes they can spoil the party a little bit. We've really been looking forward to this cattle on feed report that's coming out here today on Friday at 2 o'clock Central because we knew that our placements were going to be a lot lower. The hell of it is, the average of the analyst guess is a lot lower. So be looking at the cattle on feed report today. And the average of the analyst guess on feed inventories for March the 1st are at 98.2. I think we could be a little bit lighter than that, which would be bullish. The placements though, February placements, they've got them at 85.6% of a year ago. We hardly ever see anything from the 100% or from the status quo of a year ago be double-digit changes in either direction. Hardly ever see it. Not only did they call it double-digit lower or lighter on placements, they went 14.4% lighter than a year ago on placements on what the expectations are, and that's the average of the analyst guess. The analyst guess were wild from one end to the other. Then they've got, and I think it could be less than that. I think it could be maybe 82. Your auction receipts were around 30%, give or take a percent either way, lighter. And nobody was moving any direct cattle, and there wasn't a lot of video cattle or internet cattle being shipped, at least less than a year ago. And in February of 2024, they had the heaviest February placements they'd had in over 20 years. So if there's an opportunity to be that much lighter, I think this is it. But the hell of it is, it's just hard to move the models, the USDA's models, like NAS has. And I've told you so many times, I work for the government long enough to know it doesn't have to be right to be official. And I'm not sure if the models they have set up will allow it to be that much different than 100%, but I guess we'll find out. And the marketings, they've got at 91.8, and that's a lot lighter, but we had fewer days, and I think that could be a bigger number than that, which could be bullish. So I think there's a good opportunity for a bullish cattle on feed report coming up here. I want to tell you guys, remind you about the Gene Plus Brangus and Ultra Black sale that's coming up here on Tuesday, March the 25th. It's going to be at 2 o'clock Central. It's going to be at Chimney Rock Cattle Company in Concord, Arkansas. Now, I've been telling you about Gene Plus for several visits here. They've kind of got this deal figured out for a more modern Brangus, guys. Just a tick of ear and not too much, and the right kind of sheath that the industry wants. Still be able to handle the heat and be just what you need, guys. And they've got those on offer at Chimney Rock Cattle Company. It'll be on DVAuction.com this Tuesday, March the 25th at 2 o'clock Central. Also, you know, at this report here with a feeder flash, we like to feature auction markets, sale barn auction markets. We still think that's the best way to sell cattle. We wish all cattle were sold that way. And we'd like to celebrate a market every month that has recently been doing a good job for their customers. And BuyMedia has offered to sponsor that. So every month we've got the BuyMedia Market of the Month. BuyMedia is no suits, just boots, guys. And they don't stand for any excuses or any corporate BS. They're just all about affordable animal health solutions that'll help your bottom line, guys. And for BuyMedia's Market of the Month this month, it's Joplin Regional Stockyards. And you think, oh, Joplin again. Hey, guys, take a look at Joplin. You know, they only get, 8 to 15,000 a week there. They underestimate every week. They're pulling cattle from all over. They've got all classes of cattle every week in there. Sure, they sell a lot of commodity cattle. This industry depends on commodity cattle. But then they get the best cattle that walk also, and the market is fair on all. They can get the highest quotes of the week, they can get the highest weighted averages of the week, and they are huge, but they still take the time to give you that personal connection for their customers. And Jackie and Bailey and Skylar and the whole crew around there, it's just a big family, and here at DV Auction we're proud to be part of them. But when you sell way more cattle than anybody else in the United States, you know you're doing something right. And congratulations to Joplin Regional Stockyard for being the BuyMedia Market of the Month. Let's talk about your board on Thursday. April live cattle futures were up 165 at 208.47. June was up 217 at 205.02. Your back month's up $1.05 to $1.75. Feeder cattle for March up 152 at 288.35. April was up 172 at 288.45, and your back months on feeder cattle up from $1.07 to $1.65 higher. May corn was up 7 cents a bushel at 4.69. May beans up 4 3/4 cents at 10.13, and your hard red winter wheat for May was down 8 1/4 cents at 5.86.5. Talk about the fat cattle trade. We still haven't seen any trade, negotiated cash, direct basis out of your 5-area feeding region. We saw just a few out of Iowa late on Wednesday. They were over 80% choice as far as they were reported by the packer, and to weigh 15 1/4 live weight there, and somebody sold them to them for $2.02. Now, were these people living under a rock somewhere or something? If the cattle were that good in quality and everything, why didn't they at least bring last week's market? That's ridiculous, but that's not anything near what it takes to establish the price. But something that may have helped establish the price in the Southern Plains was the Fed Cattle Exchange. It was before they had their online auction, but they sold some beef on dairy cattle, bid the grid FOB at 208. And many times the bid the grid base price is the same as the cash price, guys, in the Southern Plains. So 208 doesn't sound too bad in the Southern Plains, and I feel like the Northern Plains will sure get 210 and possibly 212 this week. How they report all that with the bonus premiums and all that kind of thing, I don't know. But what people are going to get, paid for the cattle is sure going to be 210 in the north, and I think they have a good chance at 208 in the south, guys. But didn't have any other confirmed sales in Nebraska, Kansas, or Texas. Talk about your box beef cutout values. They were a little bit mixed, and the choice select spread has spread out, in a hurry. It was record tight here just a couple of weeks ago, and it's already branched out there close to $19. But choice cuts on Thursday afternoon down 155 at 328.06. Selects were up 68 cents at 309.36. Look at your slaughter. They did revise the slaughter for Wednesday. It was only 89,000 with all the weather that was going on up in the Northern Plains there. So we thought 96, and they dialed it back to 89. So it's going to be a very, very short week. But once again, like I said, I think that's more problematic for the packers than it is the cattle sellers, because they need the cattle to fill their beef orders that they've made promises to. They need that worse than the cattle feeders need to get rid of the cattle. But your slaughter through the first 4 days of the week, estimated cattle slaughter 440,000 is all. That's 43,000 less than a week ago at this time, and 31,000 less than a year ago at this time. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services. Of course, that's Dakota Moss and all these agents that work very closely with him. They are your LRP specialists. And don't miss out. As you're getting all excited about this booming market, we know there's a chance that the rug could be pulled out from under it between now and if you're turning some of these high-dollar stalkers out on grass. Don't miss out, as this board's been going up. The protection levels for grass yearlings coming off grass late in the summer or early fall is up near 293, guys, on a big yearling steer. That sounds pretty damn good. It's better than it is right now. So you might give them a call, see what it's going to cost, where your protection levels are at. For more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Thursday after all your sale barns had concluded, sitting at 288.22 based on a 800-pound cash auction steer up to your middle 12 states, just like your CME cash feeder cattle index. But 288.22 was $2.37 higher again than just late Wednesday. Every day gaining a buck or two or three. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 285.94, but it's going to go up a couple bucks here at least the next time it comes out here mid-morning on Friday. Talk about a sale that's coming up here today on Friday. Nevada Livestock Marketing, that's where I'm coming to you from, in Fallon, Nevada. They've got all their best consigners, guys. They got about 6,000 head for you. Jack did want me to mention the Tamara Ranch cattle coming in. They've got some really, really nice Hereford cattle. Kind of old school, more moderate type Herefords. But if you guys are looking for some Herefords for replacement heifers, it might be a good place to buy some you can afford to keep. But they'll have a lot of grazing cattle, a lot of stockers with a great condition on them, guys. And get in. They'll be on DVAuction.com starting at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific or 11 Central Time. Talk about big sales that happened on Thursday. Winter livestock in Pratt, Kansas sold 3,600. The market was $3 to $10 higher, with spots as much as $15 higher. They were your National Beefwire Stick-Out Sale of the day. Check out their best tested weights here on Cattle Market Central's Automated Marker Report. 275 head of 6-weight steers averaged 644 at 348.04 on the weighted average. 537 head of 7-weight steers averaged 751 at 306.89. 550 head of 8-weight steers averaged 846 at 285.81. And 332 head of the 9-weight steers in Pratt, Kansas averaged 948 pounds at 269.20. Couple of good tested weight groups in the heifers. 387 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 740 pounds at 272.56. 711 head of 8-weight heifers averaged 843 at 261.35. Farmers and ranchers livestock in Salina, Kansas, they sell 3,200 head. The big feeding steers weighing either side of 900 pounds were straight up $10 higher. Now, you don't see that, but they were. And I'm going to tell you about a quote here that'll blow your hat off here in a minute. Your steer calves were uneven. Heifers, all weights from $3 to $8 higher. Check out this individual quote from Farmers and Ranchers in Salina. 62 steers weighed 921 at 280. We haven't seen that yet. That's a new price level there for your 9-weight steers. How about some other individual quotes from all around? How about Woodward Livestock Auction in Woodward, Oklahoma? They sell 52 steers weighed 824 for 294. That's respectable. I don't care where you're at. How about Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky? Sells 65 steers weighed 689 for 330. Market from way up in the northern plains. Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota sells 52 steers, light calves weighed 510 pounds for 403.50. That's awfully good. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. 52 steers weighed 818 at 299.75. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.